great wing shooting destinations of the world, steeped in tradition, offering the pinnacle of shotgun sports. Tour the planet with us.
Quail hunting, as a tradition, as a passion, as a way of life, is an American phenomenon. Sure, there are some quail species and a few quail-like birds with Asian and African homelands, but only in America is the quail revered as king of game birds. Nowhere else is so much time, energy, and frankly money put into the management and pursuit of quail. North American hunters are blessed to pursue a diversity of quail species in a variety of terrain and habitat from coast to coast. And no matter where they are pursued, no American game bird is as highly revered. For the well-traveled wing shooter, the mere mention of quail conjures up memories of good friends, great dogs, and the adrenaline rush of a covey rise. Though he hails from the far side of the Atlantic, Chris Batha has an adopted passion for quail hunting. He's a Brit with his true love in the colonies.
I'm passionate about quail shooting. I mean, I just love to go out. I can't describe the diversity of the species of this bird, and it's all built around the dogs. It's built around good guides, good dog work, and the gun really, all he has to do is to take a single or a pair out of a covey to complete the circle. I think that's the great thing about it, is the combination of dog, gun and guide working together to a common interest. That's a great passion for quail shooting for me.
Nowhere is the quail hunting tradition more revered than in the South. Plantations, many managed exclusively for that purpose, cater to the old-time hunting. Dogs and handlers, wagons and mules, horses and hunters, and a recreation of the genteel way of Southern life from 100 years ago.
Point over here.
And this is traditional quail shooting, you know, the mule and wagons, horseback. This is exactly how it would have been at the turn of the century. You know, this is really traditional plantation shooting.
The wagon hunt is absolutely a unique thing. It's a Southern tradition. This is the way they've done a lot of quail hunts in the South. It's pretty neat to get on a wagon, and you're going at a pace there to where it's different from riding on an ATV or anything, because it's so quiet. You get to see a lot of activity with the horses and the mules.
Flush, ready?
The diversity of the subspecies of quail and the way you have to tackle them is quite amazing to me. You know, you have the traditional mule, wagon and the outriding pointers of the South, riding often shot from horseback. And then you go down to Texas and you're in a buggy and you're crossing that, you know, rugged terrain, cactus, mesquite, chasing some of the longest ranging pointers I've ever seen, and probably some of the hardest flying quail to tackle anywhere.
Bird! There's the Dorchester snow.
The wonderful thing about quail hunting, especially where you're riding together on the Jeep or the buggy, and there's a number of hunters, only 2 guns at a time going up to the points, it's a very social form of shotgunning. In almost anything else, you're off by yourself at least a big part of the time doing the hunting, and Lord knows I love to hunt by myself, but this is a very relaxed, very social form of hunting.
My favorite thing to do is when Gil and I or any of my buddies can just get loose and go out, just the 2 of us, and shoot some birds at a nice place, relax, have a nice evenly paced day, and have a good time.
Bird!
they got a point on there.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
Here. Blue quail.
A lot of people say that the clay target doesn't replicate hunting. Well, the fact is it does. And all you've got to do is make it or choose the target that matches your quarry. In this case, we're using a wobble trap to simulate a quail rise. Now, what I'm going to do is use exactly the same approach to the target as I would in the field. Come in at port arms, gun safe. I go into my ready position, gun at 24 degrees, the heel of the stock just on the tendon of the bicep and joining the pectoral muscle, eyes looking underneath the gun where the covey would come up, rising up onto the end of my barrel, and then I would step into the line of the target and take the shot. I'm going to demonstrate it for you. Walking in, coming up. Now, if you practice that all through the summer, walking into the target, stepping into the line, bayonet action into the target, you look at this coming season, you're going to have better kills, cleaner kills, and a lot more birds in the bag.
Come on, Bonnie. Let's go bird hunt.
Look any quail hunter in the eye, ask him what he loves about his passion, and be ready to listen to stories of dogs. Big running pointing dogs that literally live to find quail.
Here. That's a girl. That a girl. That.
Talk about a matter of form following function. Every millimeter of the pointer, from the tip of his nose to the quivering tip of his tail, is bred to hunt quail and provide quail hunters with vivid memories.
That's a girl. Can you give it? That's a girl.
One of the great things about shooting is working alongside dogs. They're your companions, and in some ways they're the constructors of a great hunt. And from the pointers, setters, you know, Drothards, German Shorthairs, English pointers, Llewellyn setters, the Brittany's, the Boykins, I mean, and the great retrievers, golden retrievers, and one of my favourite, the Labradors, you know. And here in the south, we've started using some hunt point retrievers where they'll actually point, retrieve, and I don't know, I reckon they'd eviscerate and give you the quail oven ready if you could give them time to learn it.
Chris, you can see this is one of 3 of the kennels that we have, and there's a ton of time spent with these dogs every day. We have 2 full-time caregivers for these, the medicines, the cleaning, the feeding, and they require a lot more attention than most dogs do. And of course, the only way they're going to make it here is to be exceptional dogs. The ones that don't, they end up being a pet somewhere else. So, you know, you're constantly training, breeding. You know, there's a lot of our time is spent making sure that when you get in the field, you have a quality hunt, which starts with good dogs.
So what age will you start a dog at? You know, in England it's usually 12 months, but here?
You start the training process when they're as little as 8 weeks old, but
Wow.
12 weeks old, and it's just a few things, no pressure, but just a few little things you teach them. You work them with a wing on a string, and get them to point and hold and decide what about the nose and stuff. That comes later. And of course the intense training we normally wouldn't start until they're about a year old. Some of them you can start as little as young as 7 months old, but it depends on how much instinct they have to point and hold and retrieve. And as far as their nose and scenting conditions, of course, there's no way to train that in them, so it has to be born in them. So
The definition of the word tough is the Texas quail dog. Long days of running in the harsh sun, dodging cactus, thorns, and rattlesnakes. It's part of what makes a Texas hunt so memorable.
Dead. All right. Got one. Good shot, Chris.
Can you retrieve that one for me, Carlos?
Come here, dog. Come on. Dead. Stand up. Dead. Come here, Dolly dog. Dolly. Come here. All right. Good girl.
They're lovely to watch.
Quail hunting. It's a passion for many, an obsession for some, and a ritual across America.
Yeah, good boy.
The traditions of the South are revered. The ruggedness of hunting these birds in the Southwest will test any hunter, while those who chase quail in the West will tell you they have the toughest hunt. In places like Central Oregon, valley quail hold tight to cover, surprising and even on-alert hunter, a hunter who thinks he's ready for a cubby explode.
Yeah, this is a really good field for quail, for these valley quail. They love to be along right next to the creek and this grass. It's one of their prime habitats.
And that's the valley quail's native to Oregon?
Yes, it's, I hate to say this, but it's called the California valley quail. I hate to use that word in Oregon, but we just like to call it the valley quail.
Valley quail is one of the subspecies of North American quail, very similar to the bobwhite. It flies in a totally different manner. It runs in front of the dogs instead of holding, and you have to pressure them to fly. In other words, a bit like the blue-scaled quail of Texas. They're prolific through California, up through Nevada, and here up into Oregon. They're quite an unusual looking bird, very dark grey blue, and have the prolific little top knot that, as I say, is the same as a Texas scaled quail. Very attractive bird, very easy to kill as such. You know, you don't need open chokes and a small shot, and light loads are the answer for the valley quail.
Oh, I think I saw it go through the corn. Oh, quail!
Go on, quail!
Oh,
Good one, yes!
another one.
Oh,
More.
that was a big
I can't reload that fast.
That's it. What a great quail was!
Yeah, great shot.
Big shot. I have to say, coming to Oregon, when we turned into the valley, and you see these great rolling hills and this wonderful vista of the valley rising up, and the cover crops are standing hard and absolutely full of seed. It is just an absolutely must-see, must-shoot for any wing shooting enthusiast.
This is Annie.
How old's Annie?
She's just coming up on her 3rd birthday.
Oh, you're still a whippersnapper.
Yep.
Bob, there's a cut path right over here.
You got the west coast and you got the Marin and valley quail, particularly the valley quail who prefer to run than fly, but when they do fly, what challenging shots they make. And those poor dogs are tested, you know, having to move on their points, run up and point again, run up and point again, and pressure the quail into giving you a testing shot. Good quail! Oh, what a second barrel, Mike! Way to go! Way to go, Mikey. That's a great shot. Great second barrel shot, you know, for a long passing shot, 35 yards, you know, you're not going to shoot much better than that.
Come on, Jade. Right here. Right here.
Oh, lovely retrieve. Hey.
Good girl. This is a female valley quail, and pretty nice little bird. They have a lot of white on their bellies, and they're kind of a silver gray in color. Beautiful bird.
The valley quail, you can shoot a 410 or a 28 gauge, fairly open chokes. I like light mod and mod in a 410. When you get onto the west coast again, you can soften up and go back down 20, 28, 410. My choice for the gun, can't beat the 28 gauge. Like the bumblebee that shouldn't be able to fly, the 28 gauge shoots a lot better than it should. And choking, once again, I like modified. I'd have it in both barrels. I think 15th hour in both barrels. And I don't think you need a great deal of knockdown power with quail, and I think 7.5s, 8s do the job real well. Then we having one, going to a gunfight. No ammunition. We'll just shake some rust off, a couple of little shots at escape.
Well, you told me about these Tennessee red quail. I want to get up to speed so I don't miss the first one.
Well, this game, even though it's a game now, was invented by Claude Butler, I think, in 1936 up in Worcester, Massachusetts, as a game for practicing for quail shooting. So it's appropriate to get our swing loosened up on this. Let's see if you can do any better. Oh. That's why you need ammunition.
Oh. It's been a while since I pulled the trigger, that's the problem.
Oh. You got that shot down pat, Bill?
That felt pretty good.
How far back does quail hunting go? I would have thought the founding fathers, the pioneers of this country, must have flushed coveys of quail and then proceeded to hunt them. So I would have said it was one of the most traditional of hunting pastimes in this country. The great plantations of the south and the wide open spaces of Texas, the west coast of America, and of course the Midwest offer some of the wonderful 5 subspecies of quail in every part of this country, and probably some of the greatest hunting experiences anyone could take part in.
Flush, Ray. Skin, Ray. Flush, Ray.
The diversity of the subspecies of quail and the way you have to tackle them. I mean, the three birds, all of the same species as such, but 3 different challenging shots and 3 marvelous experiences.
We've been to the south, hunting quail on old-time wagons. To the heart of Texas, walking the dry ground with some hard-nosed companions. And the high hills and low valleys of Oregon. So where is quail hunting best? It's wherever you are that day, sharing the field with good friends and maybe bagging a bird or 2.
Bill? Good shot, Bill.
How's my ballerina invitation?
Flush, Ray. Get him, Bill! Get that one over your head! Randy, back. Hell. That was about 4 birds in there, Chris. Get him, Randy. Hell. Good shot. Get him, Randy. Yeah. He's making a water retrieve.
You don't get that too often on quail.
Quail out the pond.
What a shot, Bill! Oh! Now that is a 40-yard shot.
Hell. Flush, Brent. Bird, bird. I got one.
So that's some of the most fun that I've had in a long time, that afternoon walk with just Chris and I hunting and Dee handling the dogs. It's an exciting way to spend an afternoon. And then to spend it out there with Chris and getting to see him do some shooting. I know that some of the shots I made were pretty spectacular this afternoon, and Chris is enough of a gentleman to tell me when they are, and I appreciate that.
We enjoy the type of people, the type of clientele we have coming down. We just enjoy being around that kind of people and just seeing the joy that they get out of being here in South Georgia and finding good quality hunting like they find.
This is all about glorious days in the field, enjoying the dogs, the landscape, and the blue sky. It is not and never has been a numbers game. In fact, if you measure your quail hunting day by how many birds actually fell, well, you've missed out on what makes quail hunting so special to those who call themselves wing shooters.